What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Guess what we have now? Editing software. So now I don't have to make my videos on live stream and then try to do the whole thing. Now we can actually go edit so we can get to the point a little bit faster, because I know sometimes I like to ramble. But I do finally have a different deck for you guys today. I'm gonna be showcasing some Marincess. It's still early, but since rank just reset, I mean, even though these are gold games, I am playing against typically platinum, some diamond level players. So all right, so let's go ahead and hop into the first game. I'm gonna showcase I'm gonna actually show you guys what my deck list is at the end of the video. So if you do want to see exactly what I'm running in my Marincess build, I will show you that at the end. But we're gonna hop into our first game. Okay, we are going first. So opening hand is decent. It's not great, but this is a decent opening hand. With already having the Battle Ocean and having a monster, we can kind of just go ahead and go into our combos. So we do want the Signet Mining to go off, of course, but we can at least start our combos if this were to get negated. It doesn't, so we're just going to do regular stuff here. Having the Pascalist is really good. Summon it. You can summon another monster from your hand. Of course, we're going to go Blue Tang. So this is all kind of regular stuff. But having the Pascalist is really good, because we will be able to possibly go into some Bahamut action. See what this mill goes for. Really good mill. We get the wave. So that kind of takes out us not having to go and do the triangle play. So having wave is really good. That way we can set ourselves up with another negate. I'm gonna get the Sea Angel and grab a dive, because we already have the Battle Ocean. And we're gonna go into the Anemone. Anemone gonna bring back the Blue Tang. And this is just regular stuff. We're, setting up a negate for ourselves, and totally awesome. And then we're gonna go ahead and activate the dive. That way we can grab another card. And we're going to... Now, I'm going to Crystal Heart here. You don't have to do it like this. I'm only doing this because, yes, I have wave, so that's really good. But with wave, you can only make your monster unaffected once you've actually used the wave. So I would rather just go ahead and make sure that my monster will be unaffected by using the Crystal Heart. And having the Battle Ocean down, and just keeping the wave because it can be activated from my hand. I can use it on my turn or my opponent's turn, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use the Crystal Heart here, so I don't have to worry about anything at all. I'm gonna go into the Argonaut, of course, being another negate. Activate the Battle Ocean, activate the Anemone, just grabbing back a starter, Blue Tang, nothing major, just gonna grab that. And then boom, boom, boom. So we're good. So we go into the next turn with a Veiler, totally awesome negate, plus can take the card or whatever. Of course, having the wave, and then the Argonaut itself being a spell and trap negate. So four disruptions going into our opponent's turn. They open with Feather Duster, so of course we're gonna have to go ahead and stop that, because we don't want to lose our negate here. And then he hits a Raigeki. And now I'm going to use the Toad, which means, of course, I get to also take this Raigeki. Because, why let it go to waste? Why not just go ahead and set it? I can use it for myself next turn, if we make it that far. And then totally awesome, also put this card back in the hand. So we basically have our full combo again. Now that we know that it's going to be a Sword Soul player, we kind of know what accordingly to negate, so we're going to go ahead and go for the... we know that they don't have Called By, so I can save my wave by just using the Veiler here. First Sword Soul player in a while that I've seen use the Iris. Very interesting using the Iris. Goes into Shaman. Shaman going to discard his Taya, and now we're going to negate the Shaman. And that's basically it. There's not anything that he can do, especially with us having our starter and everything already in our hand. He has to scoop. So that's the end of that. Marincess power. That's just something slight, but four negates in a row, even Sword Soul couldn't play through it, especially going second right there. So let's get into the next one. All right, so we get to go first again. This hand, we like to assess the hand. Right here, I would say that this is an okay hand. Or this, actually, this is a pretty good hand because we have two different forms of, you know, disruption here on our own turn. So if they have an Ash or have an Imperm or something, you know, we have cross out and or called by the grave. So this is really, really good to have. Signet Mining can search for a starter, so we're good there. And having Mandarin is also really good because Mandarin can actually activate in the graveyard as long as I have a Link monster on the field. So that's really good. Or you have to have two Marincess monsters on the field, but this can summon itself to where a Link monster is pointing to. So this being in the grave is no problem, so it's a good target for my Signet Mining. So very, very good starting hand here. Let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm going to go with the Signet Mining first. Discard. He's going to Ash. And we're going to go ahead and call by. Don't want to deal with the Ash. And I believe I got like another like little flicker here, like when this happened. So I kind of knew what was going to happen next. Which, you know, he did this play correctly. You know, you always want to wait. If you're going to... If your Ash gets, you know, called by and you do have Maxi, you don't want to immediately activate the Maxi right after, because if your opponent has Ash, like if I were to have Ash there, I could have just Ashed his Maxi even though I called by his Ash just because of the chain. So you always want to make sure you do actually do it in this order. So he did make the right play here by waiting to use his Maxi, but unfortunately it's not going to matter because we have the call by, or the cross out. So, you know, good effort, but it just didn't matter. So we're gonna proceed. We don't, you know, we don't really have any other. We don't have any more cards. We could still basically go full combo though, and we'll get to mill with the blue Tang, hoping that we hit anything just to get something. Ghost Spell, called by Maxi. So we get nothing, but nevertheless, good chain link block for the blue Tang or the blue Slug, so we can go into our Sea Angel. And now you get to see what was, you know, I'm going to grab Battle Ocean because I had Mandarin in the grave. Now you get to see how useful that card is. If I don't have Mandarin there, I'm only able to go into Anemone, summon another card. I can go into a Link 3 and then that's it. But because I had the Mandarin, I'm able to go into Crystal Heart. I already have the Battle Ocean. So, you know, it's not necessarily full combo, but it does give me, you know, disruption for my opponent's turn, spell and trap, negate. And with them only having, you know, 4 cards to start once they draw, this is decent, especially considering this is also an unaffected monster. So very, very good, very, very good. And of course, we're going to start with the Aliber. Going to grab himself a Branded Fusion. And this is actually like Ash in the sense of when I negate the card, it's going to negate that effect. So he's not going to be able to activate another Branded Fusion. So that's really good. We get that negated. We won't be able to do it again. And of course, they scoop it up. So even though we didn't necessarily have, you know, a lot of gas per se, we were still able to get out, you know, enough. We were able to disrupt him enough and still get something out that would be able to stop him. So 2 really, really solid games against 2 top-tier decks, being Branded Despia and Sword Soul. But, you know, nevertheless, they were going second, fighting a little bit of an uphill battle there. So I don't know how it would have looked if I would have been able to play that going the other way around. But nevertheless, I won. All right, now we're finally going second, and we are gonna go up against Ignister. So I'm gonna go ahead and immediately Veiler. I know there's a bunch of other targets that I could have, you know, done Veiler against. I just didn't want him to add any cards. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. You know, I don't want him to be able to. I'm pretty sure this one adds the Ignister version of Monster Reborn. So I just didn't want to have to deal with that. So, yeah, we just go ahead and negate it. He's just going to do basic Ignister plays, going to Wicked. Ultimately, of course, we want to get into the big Link 6 unaffected, you know, monster. And since he wasn't able to get the Monster Reborn card that they have, I think I actually did end up helping myself by Veilering that card. because Addict Mister does have a lot of combos, and they have a lot of monsters that they can just keep bringing back using other monsters like Splash Mage. But he's actually going to go just straight into the Transcode Talker. Using the Transcode Talk, or he's going to use, yeah, the recyclability of this deck is insane. And just can keep continuing special summon over and over and over. And Splash Mage's effect now. Now, it's not the it's not the strongest that it could be. Obviously, you can get a 6,000 attack, but a 4K unaffected beater is pretty good. But with no back row or anything, with what I have, there's just no way. I just don't see any way that, you know, this board is going to be able to, you know, stop what I can put up. Unfortunately, though, because it's a 4K beater and it's unaffected, I can't send the monster back to the hand using Argonaut or anything. So it is what it is. He's going to go ahead and negate using the Don Mari. We were just going to use our blue slug to grab a seahorse, and then we end up milling the seahorse anyway. So, you know, the negate was somewhat for nothing. And I'm just going to get a free draw too, drawing into a nib, which would have been really fun on the first turn, but whatever. Gonna go into a Sea Angel. Sea Angel gonna grab me the Battle Ocean, which is very nice. And now we're just gonna do regular stuff, which is really fun. So of course I summoned the Sea Angel here because I have Mandarin, and of course, you know, we gotta have something to where it's pointing, so we don't want to summon the blue slug or summon any of these cards because I wouldn't be able to get the Mandarin otherwise. So this is the best way to get the, you know, for me to summon this card out is by making sure I have a link zone that I have pointed to for me to summon it. So go ahead and summon that, and of course we're gonna go into Crystal Heart because, like I said, even though I have the wave, because you have to activate the wave in order for you to get unaffected, I would just rather go into Crystal Heart just to make sure that I don't have to worry about anything. And grab back my starter using the Anemone. Add all three. We're just going to attack over the monster. Set the called by, and we'll pass. Because at this point, I'm thinking that there's not really anything that he can do to me. He's going to go for the Achi again. I'm going to negate that again because I don't want him to grab the Monster Reborn. Gonna link back into the Dark Infant, which we don't care too much about. Back into the AI. This time I'm gonna negate it, and I'm gonna, again, this is kind of like Ash, so he's not gonna be able to activate this card again. That's the only time that he's gonna be able to do it. So that is over. Bring him back, but we're gonna called by it, so he can't bring this card back out. He just wants to link into a Splash Mage so he can bring back cards, but we don't want any of that to happen, so we're gonna go ahead and negate that. And he's going for his last hope. Blind into Splash Mage anyway. To which we will negate the Splash Mage using the other wave that we actually got off of that triple tactic. So really good that we were able to get two negates that we can activate from the hand. I thought he would scoop, especially since he completely ran out of cards. He did not, so I'm just gonna go for lethal here. I want to make sure that I can just take care of this. So I'm gonna go into Bottom-Up Shark, totally awesome combo. Make sure I have another negate, but also just ensuring that I have lethal as well. Activate the Anemone, bringing back out a Seahorse, just to link off into Marbled Rock. And I only go into Marbled Rock because I want to grab back my negates. So Anemone is going to give me a card. Marbled Rock can also grab a card. Marbled Rock is going to give me a card. And then I'm going to send back Bahamut and Splash Mage. And I've never actually seen anybody do this, but Sleepy Maiden can select basically any card that you have, and it will protect it from being destroyed by card effects. So I always use Sleepy Maiden for my Battle Ocean, so I can make sure that my field spell can't be Dustered. So just in case I don't necessarily want to negate something, I can protect it, you know, just using the Sleepy Maiden. So that's really good. That's just like a little extra play that you can do. But with the amount of negates that we have at this point, and our opponent only having had one card in hand, there's just no way that they can come back. So our hand is incredibly, awesomely terrible, right? Like, we can't do anything with this hand. These are all great cards, but this isn't our deck. This is just extras of the deck. So terrible hand. Unfortunately we have to just set to pass. We can't do anything at all, so we just have to hope that this Maxi resolves. But having the cross out helps us out with that. He's gonna go for a pot. I'm gonna go for an Ash. I don't want him to get any more cards. And now we know that there's no called by, because I had my toggle turned off so my opponent wouldn't know about Maxi. So now I'm going to activate the Maxi. No response to that at all. And with it being Sword Soul, we know that we will be getting several cards here. So gets the Grandmaster. He's gonna get a draw, then he's gonna get a search. And he basically can do whatever he wants at this point. Like, even though he did throw away 10 cards for basically nothing, he has plenty of cards in his hand to just kind of basically do whatever he wants. I love these card sleeves, by the way. These card sleeves are fucking amazing looking. I love that they like change, but I don't really care for Sky Strikers, so you know I don't care that much. But gets out Baron. Of course, he burns me for 1200. Brings out another card. Taya. So once he brought out the Taya, I kind of knew that he wanted to go for Baxia. Baxia gonna try to throw away my back row. But at this point, he's committed to the Maxi challenge a little too much. And with a droplet being on the field, there's really nothing he's gonna be able to do. I'm just throwing away the cross out. I didn't want to get rid of anything else in my hand. Looking back at it, I should have gotten rid of the Triple Tactics talent and left the cross out. But it's whatever. Negate all 3 of the monster cards. Already used his normal summon. 3 cards left in hand. Nothing else that he can really use. So we are very much so still in the game, giving ourselves a chance to fight back. So off the bat, we're gonna imperm. I appreciate him for giving us that. And now we're good. Now we can just, you know, do the works. We're gonna go into Pascalis. I double impermed because I didn't even want to deal with him negating any of my monsters at all, especially if you negate at the right time. So I just wanted to ensure that neither one of these cards could do anything at all, especially with him not setting blackout or anything. I was like, oh, this is great. No back row. Of course, we're going to grab a Mandarin. Nice on that mill. I'm going to go ahead and activate it as well. Grab the Sea Angel. Giving us the Battle Ocean, which is really dope. And of course, you've seen this play already. What we're gonna go throw a little curveball. We're gonna go into Kraken this time instead of going into Bahamut and Totally Awesome. We're gonna Kraken, knock off the Baron, burn him for 1500. Throw away the Triple Tactics talent because it's clear that he's not gonna be using any monster effects on our turn. So I'm not gonna even worry about the Triple Tactics. Looking back, I could have just waited on that second imperm and just let him use this so I could use the Triple Tactics and take his Baron, but it's fine. And now we activate Anemone, grab back the Spring Girl, Battle Ocean. Now I'm going to activate the Spring Girl, banish a Seahorse. Now I can activate the Argonaut and send back his card. And punch. Punch again. I was running out of time, so I just had to kind of like set and go. And now we go to their turn. And now it's just kind of like to the point where I'm set up so well that there's just kind of nothing that he can do to me. We're going to use a Kraken, pop his normal, burn him. He's going to activate Ecclesia. We're going to Ash it, because that was his normal summon. And I actually wanted it to get called by here, but, you know, so I could use my called by. But I wanted to wait. He summons another monk, activates the Adhara. I'm going to use my called by and hit the other Adhara that's in his deck, or in his graveyard. So he's just going to lose both of his Adharas, and his card won't resolve. So that's amazing. And now he's just sitting here with a naked monk on the field. And it's time to just, put him out of his misery. We activate the Kraken, pop, activates Veiler on an unaffected monster. I was actually going to max E in response, but I was like, whatever. He's a good sport. He hit a card that he knew didn't work. So, very nice. That's the power of Marincess against Sword Soul, full board. I don't care. Outplayed, get outplayed. This is my deck list. There are a lot of ultra rares in this deck. There's a lot that I have in here that you don't necessarily have to play. You don't have to have 3 impermanents. I don't think Signet Mining I would recommend running at 3. But you can run it at 2. You don't have to have 3 of these. You don't have to have triple tactics. You don't need Ghost Bell. As you see, in those 4 duels, never once did I get Ghost Bell. I milled it once, but I never actually got to use it. So you don't have to have this card. Veiler you don't have to have necessarily, but it is good to have. You don't have to have 2 Nib. That would be the only cards that I would say you don't have to have. Now as for the extra deck, obviously the Marincess cards are kind of your staple cards that you want to be in your extra deck, right? Like you need to have an Argonaut, you want to have at least 1 Triangle, Bubble Reef. Like these cards you want to have. But these 4 here are basically your optional cards. I would recommend at least having the Bahamut and the Totally Awesome package in here. You don't have to have Abyss Dweller. You don't have to have Kraken. I hardly ever use Abyss Dweller, and the only time that I really would is if I'm playing against somebody that's using Eld, just so I can turn the graveyard off. But outside of that, you don't need this card. So I would say Kraken and Abyss Dweller are, you can, if you don't have these cards, you don't have to craft them. You can, just run an extra, Blue Slug or Sea Angel just so you can have a little bit more recovery if your cards were to get negated or something. But you don't have to have these 2. If you do have them, they're fun cards to have, and that's why I'm using them. Just to comment on some of these, these cards here. The reason that I'm only running 1 Droplet and run 1 Triple Tactics Talent is just because this is just my own conspiracy theory, but Master Duel seems to prioritize certain cards in general, whether it be Ash or Maxi or Called By. And if you play the game a lot, you notice it, where it seems like everybody always has an Ash, or everybody always has a Maxi, everybody always has Called By in the first couple of turns, if not on the very first turn. So I like to run cards like Droplet in a deck like this at 1 because I know it will pop up. In the 4 duels I showed, I'm pretty sure I had it twice. It's a 1 of. Same thing with Triple Tactics Talent. I think I had it in all 3 duels. I only run 1. So whatever it is with Master Duels like RNG, it's not so random to where you can kind of somewhat build your deck in a way that you will guarantee yourself certain cards just because of the way that Master Duel does it. That's the deck. That's what I'm running. If you have a better way to run it, let me know. Let me know different combo lines that you're seeing that you think may be better than the combos that I'm doing. Maybe mine are generic. Maybe I'm not hip with the times. But this is my Marincess deck. This is how I like to run it. If you have anything to say negative, please shut the fuck up. Alright, so that's the deck list, that's the video. I appreciate you guys so much for coming out and watching. If you liked what you saw, please leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new. We will be streaming tonight, this Tuesday, tonight, at 7 o'clock p.m. That'd be Central Time. So if you are new here, or if you haven't come to my streams before, make sure when you get to the stream, you let me know what your favorite anime fight scene is. I want to be able to watch it, react to it on stream live with you. We can talk about it. We can talk about how weak that we all believe Luffy is. That would be great. So that's the type of stuff that we're going to be talking about over on the stream. I appreciate all of you guys for watching. Thank you so much. Peace.